This has been a moment that has been a long time in the making. Ever since I first read chapter 514, I wanted to put this on my wall, but I've held back on it because of the simple fact that I didn't want to spoil anybody. But now that today's phenomenal episode aired, I can finally put this on my wall. To keep it on there, I guess for as long until, I don't know. But damn it, we are the Yoruzuya! Start this video, man, I just want to give a little, just a shout out, I guess you could say, to Bandai Namco Pictures for putting out one of the greatest anime episodes that I've ever experienced. I have rewatched this episode all day. I've showed it to my family. That's how proud of this episode I was. This episode was beautiful. This episode was perfect. It was everything I wanted and more, man. Like, seriously. Especially from the moment, in my honest opinion, from the moment that Shoyo's OST plays. I guess I'll get back to it in the actual comparison and whatnot and discussion. But damn it, guys. This week's episode I'm telling you, this week's episode right now is my favorite episode in the series. And it's possibly right under Bebop episode 26 is my favorite episode of all time in all of anime and manga. But next week is my favorite chapter. My two favorite chapters of all time are being animated next week. So next week has a high possibility, if they keep this quality up, of surpassing this week's episode, and that's scary. Because this week's episode was godlike. I can't stop rewatching it. It's so good. But with that, let's get right into the anime manga comparison video. But man, dude, they went in this week, man. They went in this week. So let's go ahead and start off with chapter 514. All right. Now, the anime did such a splendid job of animating this particular chapter. It was, God, man, I'm telling you, I get chills. It's crazy. But I will say that I preferred the We Are the Yoruzuya panel, as well as the flashback sequence right after Gintoki says, I haven't lost shit, because of the way that Sorachi drew them in the manga. The We Are the Yoruzuya panel is probably one of my favorite panels ever. Like, I absolutely love that panel. And the anime did a phenomenal job. Don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking the anime whatsoever. It's just that with the kind of artwork that Sorachi presented, I definitely preferred that panel more than the manga. But the anime did a splendid job. We are odd jobs, yeah. I was like, yeah! And they did as good of a job as they could have done. It's just my personal preference. And then when it comes to the flashback sequences right after, right after he says I haven't lost it, because the flashback sequence whenever they're actually fighting, oh my god, that goes to the anime. But as right after he says that has to go for me for the manga, because those two, because it's a panel that's split in half. If you're reading it in a book, you see one panel on the left side, the other panel on the right side, and it just shows Gintoki and Takatsuki back to back going in against the world, and it's a phenomenal panel. It speaks so many volumes. So I only those two can I say that 514 I preferred more in the manga. But other than that, man, listen, dude, Chapter 514 was done incredibly, guys. From music to voice acting to the art, I mean, it was done great. It was done absolutely great. Oh, and one other thing I have to add that I really liked that the anime did better than the trailer, in my opinion, is because I liked how Takatsuki slowed it down. Where he says, "Oh, Takatana, Gintoki." Like whenever he Gintoki arrives to fight him, I love how Takatsuki slowed down whenever he said that. It really eased in on the impact, and it was so good. And I really loved as well the panels of how, it would show like a PNG file of how it would show Gintoki and Takatsuki, and then behind them it would show everything that they've done so far in the Shogun Assassination arc. I thought that was so cool, dude. I thought that was an amazing addition to the animation. That was really awesome sauce. Now, heading over to chapter 515, the beginning sequence of this part was absolutely amazing, dude. The way they animated that, when they go right at each other, and it shows a glimpse of them in the past, and then a glimpse of that in the present, I loved it, yo. I absolutely loved it. And the voice acting, oh my god. Just like I was gonna say earlier, I got chills. I get chills every time whenever Gintoki says Kaura Shinpachi Ikuzo. Amazing, 10 out of 10, bro. 10 out of 10 when he says that. I got shook. Yo, when you see my boy Shinpachi going in, I was like, let's go time. You know what? The Yodozuki are here. They're only 3 people, man, but they are an army, son, by themselves. Protect. I love them. I loved it, dude. So amazing. And the portion of the episode with Kagura and Kamui had some stunning art. I absolutely love the close-ups on Kamui's face. Kagura had some great close-ups too, but Kamui specifically had some amazing art in this episode. It was really good because it just flowed well, and the soundtrack, oh my god, from the Kamui and Sogo fight was used again, and it just felt right. It felt good. It felt perfect. The angles they used, it was stunning, and it was great. I loved how they incorporated the flashback in there, everything, man. And then of course, the part that made this part a 10 out of 10 for me that I just couldn't believe they did. Kagura's speech that went along with the final panel of them clashing was absolutely crazy, and then they used a still frame. They brought the manga to life. They literally put the manga on there, added color, and made it with so much detail, and it just looks so amazing. And I was like, 515 was better than in the anime. I can't put it into words. 515 in the manga was what it by no means was in my top 5 favorite chapters of Shogun Assassination arc, but I was really hyped for it. Son, the anime, oh my god, I was going crazy. I was like, dude, this is insane. But the ending with Kagura and Kamui going after each other, how they stopped it, how when they clashed, the art, I was like, dude, this detail is too much. This is some great stuff right here. This is awesome sauce. And then it just continued to get better. So we enter the transition, and now we're going to chapter 516. All right. And as soon as Take Care Buddy hit in the beginning of 516, I was already lost it. I already lost it. The legendary speech where Takatsuki says that if you were to die, Gintoki, take care of Sensei. The soundtrack, the atmosphere, the coloring. Oh my god, dude. Just so well done. This is one part that I can seriously say that the anime dominated the manga, man. Because when I originally read this, man, and I remember that in the Gintoki vs. Takatsuki MMV that I saw a while back, this is what they used to begin the fight in that MMV, and it fits so well. And I was like, no, it's impossible. They're not going to be able to surpass this in the anime. By God Almighty, Bandai Namco Pictures did it. They did it, and it was just so well. The way that the scene just starts off, you see the black border surrounding. You hear Take Care Buddy comes in. Then you see all the dead bodies around. Then Takatsuki starts speaking. God almighty, dude. It was phenomenal, dude. Oh my goodness. And then, the next part, yo. The anime adapted this portion so well. Oh my goodness. But this portion, I can definitely say it is up to preference. Because both of them did it so well in 516. I can't. I mean, it could go either way for you. You know, it just depends on you. It really does. Because I could go for, you know, the anime or the manga for you, honestly, with Gintoki and Takatsuki so far, especially in the 516 half, because the manga was phenomenal, but the anime did a great job, man. So it's up to your preference, honestly. But here's the show stealer, man. From the moment the Gintoki and Takatsuki clash swords and the sparks fly up and we head into the flashback. From the moment I saw the borders surrounding them, and I saw the coloring, and I saw the anime. Listen, man. Bear in mind, guys. Bear in mind. This is why this part just gets to me so much. All right, for 516's flashback. Chapter 514 for me. Which is the beginning, you know, right whenever Gintoki and Takatsuki clash, when they actually clash, that is the end of 514. You know, where the Yodozuya speech, all that was in 514. And in the manga, I originally had that as one of my top 5 favorite chapters in the entire arc. And 517 was just above it. I think 517 was either 4th or 3rd of my favorites, and that was the end of the episode. Listen, man, 516. All right. these two chapters, or this specific chapter in the manga, when I mean, look, 514 was above. It was above 516. But by God Almighty, this part stole the show. It stole the show. Bro, Bandai Namco Pictures did the flashback so well that it stole the show. For the love of God. From the soundtracks to the amazing colors to the black borders. The black borders really made it for me, man. It made me feel like I was watching a movie. And then the flashback portions of 516 and 517 were done so perfectly. Perfect! Yeah, I mean, it felt like I was watching a professional film. It was beautiful. It was phenomenal. I was like, goodness gracious. I could not have imagined that part done any better. And that's why 516 to me was absolutely, positively, no doubt in my mind, better in the anime. Period. Period and simple. 516 is the one chapter out of every chapter that's been animated so far that I can say that was done with no doubts in my mind better than the anime. Period, and that said and done. Now, 517, man. They nailed the scene where Gintoki and Takatsuki stab each other so well. Their facial expressions were spot on, and the blood actually looked like legit blood, man. It was so good. But once again, when it comes to Gintoki and Takatsuki, it's up to actual preference. This part I preferred in the anime, I'm not gonna lie. But, it's up to preference when it comes to Gintoki versus Takatsuki, because the choreography in the manga was godlike, but the anime is doing it in such a way that I don't even know where to go with. So it really is up to preference, in my honest opinion. Now, the portion where they both got up and they are in front of each other could go either way as well. That was a phenomenal panel, but the anime did a great job too. Then, of course, they transitioned back into the flashback, guys. And this is where I have to hand it to the anime, man. Here comes my favorite portion of the entire episode, and the reason why this is my favorite episode in the entire series right now. Probably until next week, because like I said before, next week they're going to animate my two favorite chapters, and all they have to do is just keep up this quality, and it's automatically number one in all of anime, period. No lie. When Shoyo's soundtrack hit, everything from there on out was creme de la creme in the anime. The way it transitioned from the flashback to them fighting back to the flashback, it was so well. And the thing is that the manga did this part so well, but damn it, the anime with those sound effects and how fast they were going, showcasing they really wanted to win their fight against each other, how they were beating the hell out of each other, how it just kept on transitioning from one side of the battlefield to the other. They just kept on, I mean, they were going at it, and it flashed back to the past with, beautiful, dude. I mean, and then Shoyo's soundtrack is playing while this is all going down. It's better than I could have ever imagined. Ever! And the thing is it was just astonishing to witness this in the anime, man. So good. Absolutely good, dude. And I actually preferred some of the panels, like Katsura handing Gintoki the rice ball in the manga. You know what I'm saying? But man, overall, dude, it was the soundtrack, guys. The soundtrack set the atmosphere so well for what Sorachi wanted to give you with this part. And Bandai Namco Pictures couldn't have done any better, bro. Oh my goodness. They nailed Shoyo's smile and his laugh as well. But Takatsuki's smile and his laugh was nailed so perfectly that, listen, guys, that is not a memorable moment for me in the manga. A more memorable moment than Takatsuki's smile is the smile he does at the end of the chapter. But in this episode, they really sunk that in. That was memorable, and I'm forever gonna remember that smile now because it nearly made me tear up. I was so sad, and that soundtrack and how it connected so well with the following moments. And then, man, the next portion is my profile. Listen, man, the next portion, I made it my profile picture on Facebook, man, and I still can't believe it when I go back and look at how amazing this looks. When Takatsuki and Gintoki are on opposing sides, and they obviously they just got done cutting each other. They're sitting there in a moment of suspense. There's no music. Everything's just silent, and all you hear is Takatsuki's voice saying, "You're really strong. You're strong, Gintoki." And all of a sudden you see Gintoki fall. But right before that, you see blood dripping from his sword and off his face. The soundtrack or not the soundtrack, the sound effects of the blood. The way you could clearly see that blood was coming out. Dude, the way that it, because listen, I didn't think they were gonna be able to do the blood this well. When I was reading the manga, that was one of my biggest fears, was how they were gonna animate this, and I don't have to fear anymore. I don't. For both of them, you can clearly tell the amount of effort they were putting into this fight. They were giving it their all, damn it. And those angles of how they shot showing Takatsuki Gintoki's face, phenomenal, beautiful. The blood, like I said before, they hit it. They hit the nail. They hit the nail on the head with the blood. And damn it, guys, it was a bravo, man. Just such great directing, and it seriously blew me away. They could not have ended this episode any better than that. And with that statement being said, in my honest opinion, chapters 514, 515, 516, 517, especially 516 and 517, go to the anime. I just, after rereading it, I don't know. It's unlike anything else that I've witnessed in the arc before, where I can say without a shadow of a doubt in my mind that the anime nailed this, man. You can tell the amount of effort and love they put into this episode. From beginning to end, it was just so good. The ending, the new ending, I can't stop listening to it. It's so damn good. It might be my top 5 favorite endings in the series. It's just the feels that it gives you, man. How it starts off with Shoyo and his disciples. And it burns away, and you're like, man. And the thing is with the new opening, as well from Does, I'm going to like this opening 10 times more when we get to the next arc. Because right now, since they're reusing old visuals, even though I think it looks cool, don't get me wrong, I love the song. And I know for a damn fact in the later scene they're going to use that song in the anime. But when we get the visuals from the next arc, that's when I'm really going to appreciate this opening. I can tell you that with no doubts. And I also love a little thing they added with whenever Shige's walking, they showed little glimpses of what was gonna happen in the episode. So I wonder if they're gonna do that next week as well. But overall, guys, like I said before, this episode was just so good. Like I said before, it's one of my favorite episodes in the entire series, man. And the thing is how it's just how they did that flashback, man. Movie quality, son. It was beautiful to look at. As everything, what really stole the show for me seriously is when Shoyo's soundtrack hit up until the end of the episode. That for me, and in the medium, it is hard to find something that damn good. I'm gonna put it straight up to you like that. The last time I felt like something like that can only be like to where I'm so immersed and I'm so in love with what I'm watching. It can only be there's only some other series that can do stuff like that, man. Like Bebop episode 26, or the likes of Parasite the Maxim episode 18. There's just certain series that get to give you that thing, and Gintama does it so well so many times. But this time for me, and the entire series, and I love so many episodes in the series, but from there to the end of the episode, I was given a friendly and godlike reminder of why this series is my number one. And next week is probably going to give me another reminder just like that. Now, I want to give a huge shout out to Mayo. This guy gave one hell of a thing towards next week's episode, to where he said that we can already tell, because next week's director is the guy that directed episode 293, the Kondo flashback episode, and you can already tell based off of, well, this is his words, by the way. You can already tell that next week's direction is based off of that episode too, and that episode did make me tear up. So for by God Almighty, next week, man, I mean, I already cried in the manga for both of those chapters, so I'm not ready. But you can already tell that the directing is really from him, from the guy that made it, with the blue lighting in the sky and everything, And I have to give a huge shout out to Mayo for showing that, because that's always nice to see those little type of things. But overall, the episode, from the hype going into it, the opening, the ending, from just everything in the episode, but specifically for me, from the moment Shoyo Sensei's OST hit up until the end of the episode, Shoyo's just speech to Takatsuki, and just overall the episode as a whole, everything, it was godlike. It was biblical sauce. It was goat sauce. It was awesome sauce. This is why we watch anime, and this is why I love Gintama.